Hi guys, Asno here, and today I'm gonna talk about the Atlas passive trees in Path of Exile, Echoes of the Atlas. So, the Atlas is getting a little bit of a refreshment. We are getting new mechanic that is called basically passive skill trees, and those are going to be applied to each of the regions. So every region on Atlas, in addition to everything that was there before, is also getting now the passive skill points. These passive skill points are acquired when you defeat the encounters for Maven. So Maven is the new boss that wants you to kill bosses, and when you kill these bosses, she wants you to kill more bosses, and when you kill these bosses at the same time, you complete her encounter. When you complete her encounter, you get some passive skill points. Long story short, if you kill these bosses and you follow the Maven quest and the Maven requests and so on, and do the Maven chain, she will give you points, and these points will be something that you can allocate on these passive skill trees. If you kill bosses for her in, let's say, like this region, Hayward Hamlet, then you will get passive skill points for this region, right? So completing her encounters where you fight multiple bosses will award points for this specific region that you're doing it in. So it's all like separated by the specific regions, and there are some regions that are way better than others. The natural progression will still happen. You'll still be like chasing the watchstones, going for conquerors and sires. That will happen all alongside the new mechanics, and I definitely recommend like just fully completing the Atlas in terms of like the watchstones, right? Still getting all of the watchstones, being able to fight Awakener 8, which is going to be still probably the most challenging fight, unless the Maven fight is super hard, but it's probably still going to be the most challenging thing. A very rewarding content that locks very, very important items behind it. Still a good thing to progress your watchstones, and in general it makes your maps better. However, now on top of that, you also want to focus on specific regions. So before this change, before these passive skill points, basically the most important thing was what kind of maps do we have here, right? Like what maps are there? Like let's say Burial Chambers, it drops the Doctor card, so people, and there's a decent amount of monsters, decent for Delirium, so people were doing that. Same with like Tropical Island. So there are specific maps that were way better than others in terms of the rewards they drop, and that's why people made them. That's why people run them, right? People also run specific maps because they like the layout, they like the amount of monsters. Like for example, Arcade has a large amount of monsters, like very large amount of monsters. There's another map also. Where do we have it now? Like the Desert Springs, right? Desert Spring is another map that has like so many monsters. So if you want to sustain your maps, if you want to have a lot of drops, that's a great map to run. And that's basically what drove the choice. Now the choice is going to be driven by what passives you can have on that. So I'm going to go through all of these and tell you basically what are they good for? Is this a good region to run? Is this not a good region to run? What kind of maps should you run in this region, and so on. So first region is Hayward Hamlet, which means this top left. These are the maps that are most likely going to be in it. In each region there's going to be like a new map, which we don't know yet what it is because there are like 11 new maps added to the game. So this one gives you a few things, like this piece of the tree. Oh, before I say talk about the specific ones, you are going to be able to get up to 10 points, right? So this means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, something like that, right? So you're able to pick roughly half of each of these skill trees, skill points in these skill trees, and it is of course going to be locked behind like the 10 bosses encounter. If you kill the 10 bosses encounter, if you progress to that, then I think you unlock all of the 10 points. So you can pick like 5 of these, let's call them notables, right? You can pick up like 5 of these notables. These smaller ones, I think, just give you like a higher chance for this specific mechanic to occur, or it being more rewarding. They're like very small, like percentage increase or something like that. But the big ones are what's interesting. So Hayward Hamlet, first of all, gives you bribery. So Immortal Syndicate is more likely to offer bargain for items. Syndicate drop 2 additional items with when bargained with for items. So this is like, sometimes it says drop an additional map, drop an additional currency item, drop an additional veil rared mod. So if you want to like farm veiled mods, for example, really quickly, this will be definitely something useful. There are a lot of the one, like for each master, there is one like this in at least one region, where the missions grant increased favor and areas have 10% chance to grant an additional mission on completion. So basically, if you're interested in farming betrayal, you want to do this region because you can have like extra 10% chance to get a June mission, which you can then put on any map that you want to run, right? So you can increase the amount of missions you're getting for whatever specific mechanic you want to farm. This is really, really useful for farming specific things. And then completing map grants 10 intelligence for random immortal syndicate. This is actually quite huge. This is a lot of intelligence because you get it every single time you complete a map in that region. You don't even need to encounter betrayal in it, right? So this is very, very powerful. This will allow you to progress your safe houses much quicker. So betrayal farming will be easier if you do it in the right region. This is something that will be especially useful early in the game while you're getting your character set up. Another thing that's going to be very useful early in the game while you're getting the character set up is harvest. And there is also harvest in this region. So there is nature's favor. That gives you your plants in these areas give the rarest of the 2 chosen crafting options, so you get like higher tiers of crafts. Areas have +5 chance to contain the sacred grove. That's like extra 5%. Let's say these give you like extra 3 or 2.5%. This is like extra chance to get the sacred grove, so more crafts. And this gives you harvest plots have 100% increased chance to grow a tier 4 plants, so that is better crafts. So you get more crafts and better crafts. So this is something definitely that you want to do early on while you are setting up your character. This will help you in Trade League, in SSF, all kinds of leagues, like whatever you play it, you will still benefit from this early on. And then we've got this one, which is rare monsters in areas spawn an additional beyond portal when slain, and unique bosses spawn 5 additional portals when slain. So these portals will increase, basically they will spawn monsters when you kill other monsters next to them. So this is just like extra quantity for beyond. This is really, really nice. And then rare beyond demons have 35% chance to drop additional basic currency item. This is also really good. This region so far looks very, very strong. And then we've got corrupting imprisoned monsters in areas, cannot release them. Areas contain additional essence, and essences are a tier higher. The essences being a tier higher is also really nice, especially in SSF when you want to craft specific things. Like sometimes you want to craft a bow with spell damage, so the higher essence you can get, the better spell damage on that bow you're gonna have, like a caster bow. Things like that are gonna be very useful, or like putting a minion essence on a claw or something like that, so you can use like the Cyclone Summoner playstyle. So this is very, very useful for SSF. Overall, this region I would rate it very highly. This is a very, very good region, very useful to do. Definitely recommend completing Maven missions in Haywark Hamlet. In terms of the maps that you want to run here, there is a cemetery. This is a great map to run early on. It has a chance of giving you, I think it is, 5 exalted orbs from the Brothers Stash card. Like 1 divination card gives you 5 exalted orbs. I dropped it once during heist. I ran this map a bunch. It's definitely very rare, but you can find that. It's definitely very useful. Waterways, it's very nice. Gives you a divination card for, I think, not sure if Waterways gives you that, but one of those, like either Aqueducts or Waterways or something like that, gives you the Scavenger card. Ramparts is a pretty good map. Fungal Hollow, pretty good map. What else do we have? Atoll is a very quick and easy map to run. Channel, that's the map that gives you also like the Carcass Jack Divination card. So this is an excellent region to run a lot early on, right? Early on, this is an amazing region, has good maps, has great passives, so I definitely recommend focusing on Haywark Hamlet. If you focus on this region, you're definitely gonna do well. Of course, you wanna progress still your watchstones and so on, but this is one of the regions that definitely is worth doing. A lot of great maps, and just really, really good. Then we've got Turn's End. Turn's End has bonuses to Abyss, this green one, so we've got areas have 1% chance to contain an abyss per 2% increased pack size. This can get quite large if you're reducing your maps. If you have very well rolled maps, this can be quite big. Abysses have 100% increased chance to lead to an abyssal depth. So explanation about these percentage chances, because some people, especially new players, will get a little bit confused about what this means. This means that whatever your chance is, this node doubles it. So if there was a 5% chance to encounter an abyss, 100% increase means you're gonna now have 10% chance to find abyss. That's what it means. Abyssal depths have 100% increased chance to contain a leech. Again, whatever the chance was to contain a leech, you have double that, right? So this is very nice if you wanna farm a Stygian Vice or something like that. Hordes in Abyssal Depths drop additional basic currency item, and then we've got Abyssal Depths have +3 to monster level, more magic monsters, more rare monsters, increased pack size. This is fairly good. The Abyssal Depths, this is fairly good if you wanna like increase quantity of monsters that you're farming and you wanna get like a high level Stygian Vice, something like that, to craft on it early on. This is something you can easily set up, and you can of course respec those later on because you will be getting orbs that will allow you to respec that. However, it's not very powerful. It's okay. It's okay to do it, but it's not very powerful. Then we have invasion bosses. Invasion bosses in areas drop an additional valuable item, and areas contain an additional invasion boss. So, guaranteed invasion boss and guaranteed additional valuable item. What the power level of that valuable item is, I cannot tell you, but this is probably not going to be that powerful. It really has to be like super huge, like power level of the valuable item. Usually that means it will drop a unique, you know, it will drop like a decent unique, not the rarest unique, but like a mid-tier unique, is that instead of 1 alk you will sell for 5c, maybe. So, but this also has a chance of like dropping Impulsa, dropping like Void Battery, Skyforce, things like that, or a 6 link, right? So this is something that can drop you really good things. But I think overall it is not really worth the 2 points unless we find that this is really skewed, because the rituals that you're going to be doing in maps are going to basically have also like valuable items that you can choose from, but they're going to be something that you have like guaranteed, then you can choose it, and this is really not worth the points in my opinion. It's better to just juice them up more and rely on like having bigger pack size and so on. Then we've got, and this is a Delirium one, right? So here's something that like I'm suspicious, and I think probably it's correct, that there is not going to be a Delirium mirror from Zana device anymore, at least for this league. Here's why. We've got areas have 10% additional chance to contain a mirror of Delirium, right? This is kind of trash, right? Because if you're farming Delirium, if you want to get bonuses for Delirium, you want to have it guaranteed. You don't care if it's a chance, you want it guaranteed. You want to like, I go into the map and there is Delirium there, which is the reason why I'm stacking so many mechanics together, right? Which is the reason why I'm juicing the map. So either having Delirium orbs on it or guaranteeing a Delirium mirror. This is not good. Delirium in areas increases 50% faster with distance from the mirror. This basically means that you're going to get more rewards the further you go. So as you know, Tropical Island, or maybe you don't know, but Tropical Island was the map that people were farming Delirium Mirror. I was doing it a lot. It was very profitable. And the further you go from the start, where the Delirium starts, with that mirror portal that you come through, the more tanky monsters get, the more damage they deal, and the better rewards they give. So you can gradually get higher and higher rewards, and the further you go, the more of that counter you get, and the further you go, the more splinters each monster will get you. So this is something really powerful if you are able to guarantee a Delirium mirror. However, if you were guaranteeing Delirium mirror and running Delirium, you wouldn't run this, you wouldn't want this node ever in your life, because you're running the guaranteed mirror, right? This is basically doing nothing for you. This is just a complete waste, right? And then Delirium Fog dissipates slower and lasts 10 additional seconds before dissipating. This is just like making it easier if your build is not too fast. If the content is too hard for you a little bit, this will make it easier. But I think this combined with the next Delirium change that we'll see, basically seems to suggest that there is not going to be a Delirium from Zana map device. I might be wrong. Maybe there's just like a way of balancing it because they think it's too powerful, but I think there is not going to be Delirium mirror. So this node in general, insanely powerful. The Greater Forces thing, insanely powerful if you could guarantee a mirror. However, I think the reason is that this is even in the game is because we won't be able to. And then next we have red beasts have 15% chance to appear in pairs. Yellow beasts have 30% chance to be replaced by red beasts, just more better beasts. Einhar missions have 5% chance to replace all monsters with beasts. So if you pick Einhar mission from the map device, you have a chance of having all of the monsters being beasts. This is good and bad. It's good because you're gonna be able to get a lot of beasts, and then you can go to your menagerie and craft a ton of stuff. You might get like really expensive beasts, you might get split beasts, you might get like unique beasts, you might get crazy stuff, and you're much more likely to do it if you want to farm that. However, it's gonna take you so much longer because you're gonna have to wait for Einhard to capture them, and they are insanely tanky as well. So if you have a map that has this is gonna take you just very long time to do. So not the biggest fan of that, not the biggest fan of this region. Overall it's like mediocre. The Delirium could be really good, but there is a better Delirium region overall after this, so I don't think this is a good region. Turn's End overall in terms of the maps, what do we have here? Desert Spring, very good map. Underground River, whatever the new map is. What else is here? This is like okay, but it's definitely not something that you would like need to run. So I don't really recommend running this region. This is like a mediocre region. So Heroic Hamlet, very good, especially at the start of the league. Turn's End, not so good. And then we've got Lex Proxima. So Lex Proxima is a region that is here. This is this third one. It has maps like Underground Sea, which has like a really nice density and is like an indoor map. It's very good. What else does it have? Crater, very similar map to that. Park, Glacier, very easy maps to run. It has a lot of easy maps to run. Like Thicket as well. Jungle Valley, very easy to run. Spider Forest, yeah, very easy maps to run. And it has bonuses to experience. There is a lot of experience bonuses to this region. So if your goal for this league is, for example, to get to level 100 or just like get as high XP as you can, this would be the region that I recommend. Here are the reasons. Number one, you get Harvest in here, which will help you in many ways, but Harvest monsters in this area will grant 200% increased experience, and plants have 50% chance to spawn an additional monster. So you're going to be getting Harvest, and you're going to be getting double the XP, sorry, 200%, so triple the XP, and you're going to be getting more monsters, right? So more XP from Harvest, more XP in your maps. This is pretty good if you care about XP. Next, we've got breaches. In areas have 30% increased AoE, so bigger breaches, 30% increased density, so more monsters, and 50% increased experience. So breaches already are good XP, and they will give you more XP, more monsters, and they will get bigger. So the maps that you want to run in this, actually this is important because breaches are very specific and you really care about what layout you do. You don't want to run a map like, for example, Crater, right? Crater with breaches, if you're going for that strategy, would be horrible because it's gonna open up and you are in like a little corridor that cannot grow any further, and you're gonna have very few monsters in there. However, Jungle Valley, amazing, but as you can see, there's like a lot of really closed maps. So Crater, Thicket, Phantasmagoria, Underground Sea, very bad maps for that. But I think Geode and maybe Sulfur Vents, Glacier is very open. Park is amazing for that. Park is like a just completely open map, so definitely Park. Maybe the new map, we'll see what that is, but like you want really open maps, so something like Park is like pretty much the perfect map for that. Jungle Valley also very good. You want very open maps so that the breach can grow really big and has a lot of surface because it will also grow bigger than normally, and you can get maximum monsters out of that. And then if you're running these breaches, you of course want to buff them with these two passives. One of them gives you extra chance to spawn a boss, double the splinters, and you can get a breach stone. And then you also have increased chance to drop a breach stone, and it can be charged and enriched on pure. So it's like 1 in 500 chance per boss to drop like a pure Chayula Breachstone, but you're gonna be getting like Chayula Splinters, and you're gonna be getting like double the splinters, right, from the bosses. So you're gonna be getting a bunch of splinters, and you're gonna be getting like charged, enriched, and pure Breachstones sometimes, which also is an amazing way to level up. These are very expensive and give you a lot of XP when you do them. So this is something really strong for leveling. Next, we've got sulfite in this region. So we've got like sulfite focused nodes. So there is voltaxic sulfite veins and chests in area have 10% chance to contain double sulfite. So I got 10% chance to double it. So basically means 10% more sulfite. They have 20% increased sulfite. Okay, you multiply that, so like the 10% double is a multiplier, this is increased, so do the math. Basically you get more sulfite from this node. Then you've got white maps grant additional one, red tier maps grant. Okay, so you get, when you complete the map, when you kill the boss, you get 500 additional sulfite. And then you've got, which is quite a lot, like a red tier kind of juiced map will give you like what, 2000 sulfite or something, like 1800 to 2000. Like if you really juice it, maybe you can get more, not sure exactly how much, but like around, let's say probably not more than like 3000 or something, right? It's depending, like the scarabs can multiply that as well, but depending on how you juice it, this is still significant. And then increased damage for each voltaxic sulfide vein, and then increased movement speed for each voltaxic sulfide chest in areas. So if you are doing delve, it might be now worth to have a character that will quickly clear the map, because you want to run a map that is quick. Like in this region, you can do something like Glacier, for example, or Park. Just quickly run around. Those are small maps. Quickly run through it, pick up all the sulfite, kill the boss, and peace out, you know, and you have so much sulfite more. This is really, really strong for self-sustaining delve. You're gonna be able to cap your sulfite very, very quickly with this. You're not gonna need that many scarabs. Then we've got harvest in areas have doubled bonuses to item quantity and rarity, and the sacred grove in areas contain an additional harvest. This is not really impactful because I think you can only pick one harvest right out of the area. And then the sacred grove has 100% increased chance to contain the heart of the grove, and 10% chance for the unchosen crop to not wilt. So I guess you can keep a crop for the future garden or something like that. Not sure how strong that is, depends on like what is the number of cycles that you need until you have like grown things, like because they are growing automatically now, you don't have to manage the harvest, so it depends how it's being grown. And then we've got also this node, which is up to 20% rare monsters in areas are possessed and their minions are touched. So if you have a lot of rare monsters in areas, you're gonna have them possessed by the ghosts, which means they're gonna be ghosted, they're gonna have more rarity, they're gonna drop more items, and the minions around them are gonna also drop more items and have whatever special power or drawback that it is. So in general, pretty good region for sulfite, actually like insane region for sulfite, and then also very, very good if you want to farm experience. So that is Lex Proxima. This next region is Lex Ejoris, and this one is a beauty. So Lex Ejoris, which is top right, is one of the best regions. It is one of the best passive skill trees and one of the best map sets that you have for all of these regions. So let's get started. First, let's go through the good stuff, which is the delirium. So you got maps found in areas have 10% chance to have layers of delirium. Layers of delirium means probably something like it's the equivalent of delirium orbs, right? So imagine entering an area and then you got a 10% chance to have like some delirium orbs on it. This can potentially make it very, very challenging, because imagine you have a map, you put like 4 delirium orbs on it, and your build can run that, but there is a big jump between 4 and 5. And if this bonus, this passive, puts another orb on it and you go to 5, then the map might be undoable for you if your build is not good. So this is something that probably will require a really good build, but also will be very rewarding because you're getting potentially like a free delirium orb, which is very nice. And then we've got delirium encountered in areas are 100% more likely to spawn unique bosses, which means like almost all of them will have bosses. They have very high chance to spawn bosses. Like I don't know if it's like if you have like 5 delirium orbs, it's probably like almost guaranteed to have a boss. And then delirium bosses drop like 100% increased simulacrum splinters, which is really nice. The bosses drop a bunch of them. So let's say a boss drops like 13 splinters or like 7 splinters, like this is just that's how many more you're gonna get. And then they have 100% increased chance to drop unique cluster jewels, which means those are the jewels that are like one with nothing and all of that stuff. So that is very, very nice. They go for quite a lot of money, especially early on. And then delirium encounters in areas have 15% chance to generate 3 additional reward types, and this is massive. So imagine you're doing like a delirium orb map and you have like 5 delirium orbs, so you have like 6 different rewards, and then imagine you get like 3 more. So this is like 50% more rewards from delirium. This seems really powerful. Even when you're doing delirium mirror, this seems really strong. And I would couple that, like I would just spam this region. I think this region is really powerful, and there are some great maps there. I would just spam this region, and one of the reasons why I would spam it is because of this node. Time and again, Alpha missions have 100% increased favor, doesn't matter. Areas have 10% chance to grant an additional Alpha mission on completion. You can farm Alpha missions much faster, and they are one of the most important things for juicing maps. When you run like very high level content, when you run maps that you invest a lot into, especially when you do delirium in them as well, you really want Alpha missions. So Alpha missions are going to be farmable much quicker by doing maps in this region. And what region is this? Like, what maps do we have here? There we go. Burial Chambers, one of the best maps to farm ever. Beach. Waste Pool, a very quick map that you can farm as well. This is a really good region to farm. And there's also some new map here, we'll see what that is, but like just the fact that there is like a beach, Burial Chambers and Waste Pool in this one, like those are some of my favorite maps. They're all in this region. They're all like T14, 15 and 16. Really good. Like this, maybe this is also tier 16, not sure if it's 15 or 16, one or the other. Still really good. So this is a very strong region to farm. And other than that, we've also got for the Alpha incursions, architects drop 1 additional rare incursion item. Time gained from killing is doubled. This doesn't really matter, doesn't do much for me. Like the 1 rare item, even if it has good mods, is very low chance for it to have good mods because it's just 1 item. And then incursions contain Val Flesh Merchant. I have no idea what the Val Flesh Merchant is. We're gonna see what that is. Maybe I'm not that familiar with the Val of the incursions as well. I did not play during the incursion league, so I'm only familiar with like the basic mechanics of the temple, setting up the temple and so on. This probably has to do something with the vials, with the vials that you get from the boss or something like that. Maybe you can get them, maybe you can get something for them. We'll see. But here we've got also like metamorph mods, which I think are fairly inconsequential. Like metamorphs are not that strong. The rewards can be really good, but usually are not reliable. So areas contain rogue metamorph, and metamorphs deal 50% more damage, have 100% more life, and 50% chance for the rewards to be doubled. So you get 50% more rewards if you keep running this from metamorphs, but I don't think this is really strong. And then we've got Perandus, which I kind of just want to skip because Perandus is just not a really good mechanic, especially when you compare it to something like we're getting now, which is a tribute system from the ritual. The tribute system from the ritual is similar to that, except you don't have to pick up coins, you get to kill monsters while you're doing it, and you can pick your rewards and get them over time, even if you cannot afford them at a specific time, without having to trade, without having to do anything. Like, so no bullshit, and all of the good parts of it, right? So the ritual mechanic is really cool, the tribute mechanic is really nice. Perandus sucks, but this is a very good region, one of the best regions, especially because of like all of the delirium bonuses that you get and the ability to farm Alpha. Definitely a good region to focus on, at least for a little bit, like at least to get like these 1, 2, 3, 4 passives, and then whatever else seems good. So this is a really good region. So we've got 4 more regions, and we go on to a really good one as well. Glenna Cairns is another one that is amazing. We've got here, the most important part is the Beyond. There is going to be Zana device Beyond, so you're going to be able to guarantee Beyond on maps. You get like 3% extra chance to attract monsters from Beyond. You get also powerful Beyond demons require 1 fewer portal to summon in areas, which means more bosses. So, and Beyond portals have 100% increased merging radius, which means maps that have less density will still be much better at spawning Beyond. So this is really powerful. You're gonna be able to run maps that don't necessarily have like a big density, but they're a little bit bigger, but you still can run Beyond in them and it will feel good. This is really nice and definitely something that you want to run. In terms of like maps to juice in this region, you could do Tropical Island now, I guess. There is, what else is here? Villa Museum, Wasteland, Iceberg, I guess. Ancient City. Ancient City is actually pretty good. Ancient City is actually something that I would probably recommend. We'll see. Plateau, not the best maps actually. Like as I look at this, not actually the best maps, but like maybe Acid Cavern, Sunken City, Ancient City, Tropical Island. Arcade is a very good map for sure. Arcade would probably be really, really good with this as well. But they're like lower tier, unfortunately. The more like the higher tiers is like Ancient City, I think is like the best one probably. Iceberg also not too bad as well. Wasteland, I don't like that map. I think it's like too much backtracking, but we'll see. This region seems to have like a little bit worse maps than the Lex Ajoris, but it has really, really good mods. Like the Beyond mobs are really, really powerful. And then on top of that, we've got also incursion monsters in areas are at least magic. So remember when we're doing this region to farm the Alva, you can farm the Alva and then use it in this region, and then all the incursion monsters are magic, which means more experience, more loot, really, really good mod to get as well. This is gonna be crazy experience. Like this amount of Beyond and the incursion monsters being magic, probably people are gonna be like making strategies. If I was playing in a group, I would have people rotate. Like I would have some people rotate and like just like farm these missions, farm Alva missions, and then make sure that you always pop Alva missions so that we always have like magic monsters in the incursions. It's gonna be like really, really powerful. So what else is there? Legions. Legion encounters are more likely to include a general. They always have 2 generals if they have 1, and they drop more splinters. 10% more chance to have a Legion encounter, and they have increased duration, and monsters take more damage while they are in stasis. This is all okay. You do want to play, like you do want to run Legion when you're playing like really high juiced maps. So this is definitely something you could run as well. You could run like these 2 mods for the Beyond, these 2 mods for the Legion, and then also this incursion, right? So that'll be like fully spec'd out Glenach Cairns tree. So this would be pretty good. Other than that, we've got these mods for making the temple easier. So killing resident architects in areas adds their upgrade tier to the surviving architect's room. So if you're killing, if you have like a room where you had like a decent reward, you upgraded it and it's like tier 2, and then you can switch it to another one to instead be like a map room or something like that, really good. Then you're gonna switch it, and then it's also gonna gain the progress from the previous room. So you can switch freely between the rooms, and you're gonna gain the progress of the tier from the previous one, right? So you're not losing, and it's like easier to switch between rooms, and you maintain the higher tier of that. So it's easier to build a temple that will be actually worth running. And then killing non-resident architects has 50% chance to add an additional upgrade tier to the surviving architect's room. So again, easier to get a tier 3 room for whatever mechanic you want. So this is really good for like running temple. If you're interested in running temple, if you want to like spam corruption chambers and sell them or something like that, then definitely you can do that. And then we've got the strong boxes. So strong boxes in areas are corrupted and rare. And areas contain extra strong box, and they can be opened a second time, 10% of the time. If you're running something like the Monstrous Treasure Prophecy, then this is something really powerful because you're gonna like guarantee strong boxes being corrupted and rare. It's really, really good, and you don't necessarily have to roll the sextant mods, although the sextant mods are probably still something you want to run because it gives you like increased rarity and stuff like that, right? Like 5,000% or something crazy like that. And then we've got new region, new Vestiaire. Okay, this gives you bonuses to sulfite. So we've got sulfite veins and chests in areas are guarded by sulfite hoarding monsters. So I guess you kill these monsters and they give you sulfite. Completing Nico missions grants increased favor and more chance for the Nico missions. And then sulfite veins have 5% chance to also contain equal amount of azurite. This is a good node for like an early progression. Early on, azurite is useful because you want to grab all of your like resistances, light radius, you want to grab enough of the flares and dynamite. So if you're struggling on azurite, this will allow you to just like go straight down and not have to spend the sulfite on, they don't have to spend the azurite on like things that you don't need, right? So like you don't have to spend the sulfite. Like I said, I was like getting confused what I was saying. You don't have to spend sulfite on getting to Azurite nodes, because you're gonna be getting Azurite from the maps, right? So because of that, you're gonna be able to just quicker progress down. That's it. That's what I was trying to say. The next one is the Legion. So you've got areas contain 3 additional surgeons, and they always have rewards. And each Legion contains War Horde. And Timeless Splinters dropped by Legion have 1% chance to drop as Timeless Emblems. So you can get lucky, get more money out of that if you're running Legion. If you're running this region with Legion, this is going to be good. Definitely something you want to run. However, this is not something that I would like on purpose go to farm that region for, because there are better rewards in other ones, but it's still very, very good. And then we've got Rogue Exiles, which seem like pretty bad, actually, like additional Rogue Exile per 2 additional content types applied to areas. So if you have like Alva, if you have Delirium, if you have Legion, if you have Soul Fight in it, whatever you have, like those mechanics are what counts here. So you're gonna get a couple of more Rogue Exiles, and they might have some rewards which will be probably garbage. I wouldn't count on that. This seems really, really bad. And then we've got Abyss monsters in areas grant 50% increased XP, and Abyss in areas spawns 100% more monsters. So double the monsters, 50% more XP, pretty good early on, and this is something you can pick up early on. So this will be like one of the first nodes that I would invest into this region probably. You don't need to do anything, you just might occasionally get way more XP. And then we've got Abyss towers have 10% chance to drop rare item with an Abyssal Sockets, +2 to the level of Abyssal Trove, and they have increased item quantity. This is really nice because you're going to be able to get like a helmet. Let's say you only need to use 3 sockets from that helmet. You don't have like all of these sockets necessarily being pressured by skills that you need to use. For certain builds, it's actually really nice to get extra Abyss sockets in your gear, like in boots or gloves or helmet. So this is something that you can get from that, and also +3 to the level means you can craft better items because they're going to have a higher base. So if you're doing like level 83 zone, which is tier 16, you're going to be able to have level 86 item, which can be really, really good depending on what item that is and what you're trying to craft. But this is definitely really, really good. Like for example, you're going to be able to get like 35% movement speed on boots because of that, and so on. So this is something potentially really good in SSF that can be definitely utilized very well. Overall, like an okay region. It's not too bad, it's not too good. There are some useful things in here, but nothing too, nothing too exciting. And then we've got 2 more only. So one before last is the Valdos Rest. Oh, what are the maps in New Vastir, by the way? New Vastir, those are actually not too exciting. Yeah, I don't see anything like great here. There isn't anything like really, really great here. There are some okay maps, but there is a Strand here. If you wanted to run Strand quickly with Abyss or with Soul Fight or something, maybe you could do that. I don't think this is really, really worth doing. Like so far, the best regions are like Glenach Cairns, like by far, and Lex Ajoris. Those are like the top 2. So next one is Valdos Rest. So that would be this one, this bottom right in the middle. So Valdos Rest has Blight mods. So if you like Blight, what do we have here? Blight encounters are more likely to contain multiple lanes, so just bigger lanes and more reward. 10% chance to contain Blight encounter, and Blight bosses drop additional anointed jewelry item, and up to 2 Blight bosses. I'm not really excited about that. I don't feel there is like a much better Blight mod, I think, later on. This one is, I think, pretty bad. I personally am not a fan of Blight. Whenever it is on maps, I do it, but like for the chance to find the blighted maps that I can sell to AFK farmers, because they pay a pretty large amount for that compared to the rewards that they're getting. They're not really like worth running as a time investment, but they're worth running if you're gonna do it like AFK with a minion build. But this is definitely not as good as the other one, so there's like no reason to run these. Then we've got Gut Instincts, which means Immortal Syndicate members grant 3 intelligence for the current encounter's safe house if not interrogated. That's a very small amount of intelligence. I don't think this is necessarily worth it. The other Syndicate thing was better. You get like 10 intelligence, but just to a random house. But overall, it's still better than this. And then we've got areas have, or maybe not, actually, because this is per each member, huh? I guess this is still pretty good. Yeah, now that I think about it, if you get a lot of members spawning, this can be like 9 per encounter. This can be like 27, like easily, like 25 to 30 intelligence per map. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, this is actually pretty good. Then we've got areas have 10% additional chance to contain metamorph encounter. You can assemble an additional metamorph, and the metamorph bosses drop additional itemized sample. Metamorph VAT meters in areas require 50% less power to kill. So you get more organs, okay? You get more organs, you get more like boss organs and stuff like that. In general, metamorph is not a very powerful or very rewarding mechanic. Like it's decent, it's decently good, but there are just better ones that are much more worth running. However, in this region, I don't see that much better things. Like the Betrayal is probably the better thing to run here. And then we've got Immortal Syndicate members executed in areas have 100% chance to gain an additional rank. So that's really good. So this seems like the region for actually running Syndicate, because this is what matters, right? The rank of the members is really, really important, because you want to get them to rank 3 and then complete that safe house as soon as possible so that you can get the rewards. Let's say for my build, I'm going to be running Toxic Rain Pathfinder build, and I'm going to definitely want to put Hillock in research so that I can grab my 26 quality flask really quickly, so that I can have like my Fortify uptime permanently even on bosses. And this means that I'm going to probably run this region for Syndicate, because getting these to really quickly to high level is going to be very, very important. So I might farm like Betrayal missions somewhere else, like in this region, June missions, and then I'm gonna like use them in this region to gain the extra ranks and intelligence. This seems actually very good for playing with Betrayal. This is like Valdo's Rest, very good for playing with Betrayal. So what maps can you do that in? Valdo's Rest, City Square, there you go. City Square would be like a really good map, because you can do it very quickly. Canyon, also very good for doing that. Straightforward map, very good. Yeah, those would be really good. Promenade, that's another one that is really good for doing that. So this seems like a very good region for Betrayal. Very good for Betrayal. I might make like an infographic with like, what do you want to farm? Like farm Betrayal here, farm Sulfide here, you know, farm this thing here, you know, and so, or like breaches here, Sulfide here, or wherever it was. Yeah, this will be pretty good. So what else do we have? We've got the Metamorph staff. Oh, Harbinger staff. Okay, so we've got up to 1 Harbinger in areas is joined by reinforcements. So just like more minions, and areas contain an extra Harbinger. Harbinger are not like especially powerful, but this is a good way to juice your maps if you wanna use other scarabs. If you're not using the scarabs for this, you want to use other scarabs, you can add more monsters to your maps by basically picking these passive skill points, and it doesn't cost you a scarab. So this is something that's just good to run, because it will add more monsters to your maps. So if I was running these maps, you can either run the Blight for extra Blight, but this is only 10% chance to have the Blight, maybe more with the little passives, but this is 100% chance to get a Harbinger, and then also reinforcements, so it's gonna be a bigger Harbinger. So you get like a big Harby with tons of minions in your map. So probably this with like Syndicate is what I would run early on. Pretty good region overall, actually better than I thought before reviewing this again. The last region is the Lyra Arthane. So this one has the better Blight mods. So maps have again 10% chance to contain an additional Blight encounter. So you might have even 2 Blight encounters in it. And Blight chests, I think so, right? I think that's what it means. And then Blight chests in areas have 100% more chance to contain blighted maps, and blighted maps are anointed. This is very good. Blighted maps are very valuable. It's really nice when you find them in the maps you're doing, and you basically double the chance to find them, which means it's very much worth doing. This is pretty good just to pick up early on if you want to make currency, or if you want to just get more blighted maps that you enjoy running. I personally hate them, but if you do, then there you go. For me, it is going to be just like extra currency, and it's very, very nice. Then we've got the breach one, so 10% chance for extra breaches. Breaches spawn more rare monsters, and they open and close 100% faster. That is actually really good if you want to go through a map faster. And then look at this one. Blight encounters in areas spawn 100% more non-unique monsters, and they spawn 100% faster. So the Blight is going to take half the time, and you can also do Breach. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 passives, and you're going to have Blight and Breach, and you're going to make them do them faster. So they're going to take less time. These are pretty good passives to take. In general, you're going to basically juice your region to contain more monsters, more rewards, and it's not going to take as long as it would without these passives. So this is a pretty good combo. The next thing we've got here is Einhar. So Einhar has increased favor, 10% chance to gain the extra mission, and this is super powerful and funny actually. Einhar has 100% increased cooldown recovery rate and does 1000 more damage to unique monsters in areas. If you're struggling with a boss, then you might become an Einhar Mancer. He deals 1000% more damage to unique monsters, which means he's just gonna demolish bosses on his own, and then also he remains after the mission is complete, so you don't have to worry about that. You can just capture all the beasts, which can be less likely to be of less common variety. Can you make it any more confusing? The beasts in areas are more likely to be less common varieties. Okay. The beasts are rarer, okay? You get more rare beasts and like that are uncommon. Okay, that's cool. So you get like more of the split beasts or whatever else you can find. So the Einhar in this region, Lyra Arthane. So what would be like a difficult map? What's a difficult map in here? I don't think there is, like, I don't know. What's a difficult map? Pierre? No. Primordial blocks? Primordial blocks? Maybe if someone like struggles with that boss. I don't know. That these maps all maps, like it depending on like your level, right, and your character. But this is something you can definitely do to help you out. But to me, it's more like a meme. It's not really something useful. And then we've also got areas contain like 10% chance to get a smuggler's cache and the blueprints, and that's it, right? So if you want to run heists, this is where you farm the blueprints. So this is nice. I'm probably gonna make like an infographic to show which region you want to farm certain things in, because I think that's going to be really helpful for people. That's basically it. Like, I think this region is decent for making early currency, like easy currency, or farming blueprints, like farming contracts and blueprints. This is the region to do. This one is for setting up your syndicate and also getting some extra currency or metamorphs. Metamorphs is not really like a thing to do, but like extra monsters here from the Harbinger and setting up your betrayal. This region, what is it good for? This region, Rogue, Exiles, Soul Fight, but not the best one. This one is kind of crap. Like this region, if you want to craft like Abyssal Socket Rares, if you want to get Abyssal Socket Rares. This region, Granite Cairns, I guess this one is like for juicing beyond and running your alpha missions. This is really, really strong for that. This one, Lex Ajoris, is good for running Delirium and granting you alpha missions, so like farming alpha missions as well. Lex Proxima region is good for gaining XP and gaining Soul Fight. This region is good for what do we have here? This one is also okay for Delirium, but like I'm not exactly sure about that. This one doesn't seem to be that strong. Currency items, +3 level. I guess this one, farming a Stygian Vice, okay, getting a Stygian Vice very quickly for like a very high item level, because you don't need to run the highest item level to get a really high item level Stygian Vice. And that's basically it. And the Delirium, like easy Delirium farming, I guess. And then we've got Haywark Hamlet, this is the go-to harvest crafting region, as well as farming your betrayal missions, right? And also SSF good essences. This is a really good region as well. So that's basically it. This probably is going to be a really long video, but there is just like so much to talk about, and I wanted to make it simpler. I wanted to like tell people like what is the thing that you want to do in a specific region and how it works and so on. Hopefully this will help you guys. I'm still not sure what my strategy will be, but with this understanding, at least I'm gonna be able to like pick things to do, right? And I'll make an infographic and probably put it in the description as well, so that you can see it and easier follow like which regions are good for what. Thank you guys for watching. You can also check out my stream at twitch.tv/AsmodeusStream. I'm streaming most of the days there. We're gonna be going over all the changes, practicing leveling, talking about patch notes and so on. And then I'm gonna be, of course, streaming the league start as well. Thank you guys for watching and see you next time.